If you shot a bullet, a spring-loaded hammer is released, hitting a small metal cup known as a primer with the stored potential force of the hammer. The compound inside the primer rapidly detonates, producing an intense flash of hot gases through the flash hole. The high pressure pushes the bullet out of its cartridge and into the barrel. Grooves in the barrel then stabilize the bullet for accurate flight, and the bullet goes on to exit the firearm through the muzzle. If you shot a bullet from a high-velocity rifle, the bullet will travel to its destination at above 2.5 times the speed of sound. The energy released is the equivalent of somebody kicking a football at 310 miles per hour, around 3,000 to 4,000 joules respectively. The hardest unofficial kick done, by the way, by a human was 131.8 miles per hour. Although if you shot a bullet, you likely kick harder, and you smash everybody. And you also inspiration for video. God, his back fist KO was so good. But if you shot a bullet, would probably be angry at you, so take him to a china shop. Although admittedly, it might be his final stop. He likes their teapot collection. Instead, if you bought a shullet, would probably do wonderful things for experimental physics and potentially even win a Nobel Prize. All by using the way neutrons diffract when bounced off crystals to find their atomic structure by studying the pattern observed when the neutrons are reflected. It was a pivotal turning point in the 90s for understanding the formations of solids, liquids, and gases, atomically speaking. And it went on to bolster chemical engineering and the study of alloys. In fact, in a description upon awarding the Nobel Prize to Schull, it was said that neutron scattering reveals where atoms are in a material, like ricocheting bullets reveal where obstacles are in the dark. And when talking about Schull, it's worth talking about bullets because just like how neutrons scatter, bullets do, and it's precisely what gives them their lethality. Let's follow the pathing of one when shot at a human, shall we? No? You don't want to? Well, in that case, I'd like to apologise for the following. To absolutely no one. If you shot a bullet, the force of a fully swung sledgehammer is concentrated down to 1 to 4 millimeters, smaller than the head of a match. Upon contact, the surface of the skin is ruptured and smashed through until the bullet meets muscle. The projectile creates a track of torn muscle fibre, and surrounding muscle may be bruised or disrupted. The muscle quickly stretches outwards and then recoils, creating a miniature shockwave beneath the skin. The bullet will then smash through bone, but for weaker firearms it can get deflected or stopped entirely. Bone fragments can get lodged into muscle or worse, pierce organs, which causes further complications, particularly if it's bone near the lungs. Adjacent capillaries to the muscle track and potentially veins rupture, and if you're particularly unlucky, a major artery might burst, which greatly increases your chance of mortality. Blood leaks into surrounding muscle tissue, potentially causing a hematoma, which is essentially a collection of blood unable to be cleared by the lymphatic system. White blood cells are recruited to damaged areas, and the subsequent areas greatly swell. Platelets block more blood leakage, and fibrin mesh seals torn microvessels. If the blood loss cannot be slowed quickly enough, the total volume of blood in the body decreases and cardiac output drops. Your blood pressure falls and the cells in your body become hypoxic. These cells begin favouring anaerobic respiration, which produces lactic acid. As a result, metabolic acidosis develops and cellular function is impaired further. Major organs begin to fail now, and critical musculature of the heart begins to atrophy, likely causing cardiac arrest. Vision becomes blurry and you start to lose consciousness. The heart cannot maintain circulation and your body will begin to die. Your brain will likely release endorphins due to extreme stress, creating a sense of calmness, detachment, and reduced pain. Neurons will begin to fire irregularly, producing bright lights and visual distortions. You may also hear auditory hallucinations and feel as though time is moving slower. Higher order faculties of the brain shut down, and the last men standing are your more primitive functions close to the brainstem. These will eventually fail too, and that is when, medically speaking, consciousness is lost. Upon death, when all is said and done, you will find yourself If you shot a bullet, it would serve as part of the estimated 8 billion rounds fired per year. The 21,917,806 fired per day. The 913,242 bullets fired per hour. And the 15,221 per minute. In the second you shot a bullet, around 250 were shot with you. What that means is a total of 3,050 continuous human labour years are spent solely in the gathering of minerals needed for bullets alone. Per year. Now that manpower seems like it's been put to good use, doesn't it? Perhaps if we shoot enough bullets, their supply increases and eventually we could cover the entire Earth in a layer of metal sludge. And then we can meet each other for little swimming lessons and lead poisoning. And then we can eat water for lunch. The water has lead in it. If everybody on Earth shot a bullet in the same direction at a tangent to the Earth's rotation, the approximate recoil velocity imparted on the Earth would be 1.21 times 10 to the minus 14 meters per second. The angle of the Earth's spin would be changed by 5.7 times 10 to the minus 21 radians per second, and the recoil of Earth from space would give a linear velocity to Earth of 1.2 times 10 to the minus 14 meters per second. But in simpler terms, after a year it would move the Earth by 0.4 micrometers. So in other words, if you shot a bullet, the world would keep spinning. I would keep uploading and birds would keep shitting. Doors would keep revolving and magpies would stay winning. Fat fox. But if you shot a bullet, a universe has gone. And in that way, you've killed the entire world by only killing one. Because each life is a story. It's a movie of sorts. Each and every mind, an infinite well of thoughts. And if it all really is just a movie machine, were the audience watching yours, what would they be shouting at the screen? The killer's in the closet, you have to go for broke. There's magic literally everywhere, behind the mirrors and smoke. And I suppose the point really is to try, however bleak it gets. A wasted life lived is merely one with regrets. And I'm not very clever, and the rhyming's getting tough. With how pretentious the ending was, I'm sure you've all had enough. So if you shoot a bullet, aim it at a tree. Put the gun down. Stop aiming it at me.